Christ. I don't know what's going on. I have, sorry for the late start. There is my God. I've got this problem, and it's kind of halfway between my phone and halfway between YouTube. And, nice thumbnail. I always take a thumbnail to try to get the thumbnail to make sure everything's working correctly. And everything was not working correctly. So, okay, what basically happened, I think, all the info is going to be weird on the video until I get it fixed later. But I have some sort of issue where the orientation gets locked on my phone, and it's like it'll say it's not locked. Like when you go to the phone setting and try to fix it, it'll say it isn't locked, and then you go to the YouTube and it's like your phone rotation is locked. And then they had updated the system on YouTube, the app or whatever, and it was like trying to force me to use vertical, and it just doesn't really work that way for my space and my area. So I couldn't do that. I couldn't just be like, all right, fine, no problem. So I'm sitting here Googling, trying to figure out what the problem is. I restarted my phone a bunch of times, and then finally just had to delete the app and reinstall the app, and it looks like everything is fine now. So that was fun. It was a fun start to our fun evening. Jesus Christ. Technical difficulties. I feel kind of normal here for a minute. My collar stopped poking me in the neck. All right. It looks correct. It looks right to me. Everything looks right. It looks right on my tab. You check that out. Like me on me action. I run it beside myself so I can make sure it's working. And I don't know. It's like it happens without warning. I never know when it's going to do it. So I don't have an effective methodology to fix it immediately. So again, apologies for the late start. At least it wasn't too late, just a few minutes late. So, well, okay, let's try to focus here. Get some of my things out of my way. I'm surrounded by stuff. All right, now I'm feeling kind of normal again. I gotta get in my groove. Okay, so welcome to the show. This is Meanwhile Back at the Ranch, episode 12 of Meanwhile Back at the Ranch. I started this before I started Million Movie Project, so there's less of those. They look exactly the same, but there's less. So, thank you for being with me after the big mess. My head's kind of crazy right now, so bear with me a little bit. I got my notes. I'm in the zone. Everything looks fine. I'm just anxiety brain, So okay. Just a couple minutes ago, I should have known. I think Pan put a curse on me because a couple of minutes ago he was in here trying to get me to pet him, and he wanted some pets, and I gave him a kiss, and he got lipstick all over his nose, and he's got gray fur, so he had pink lipstick smudges all over his face. And I think that he put a curse on me for doing animal testing on him with my lipstick. But it looks like everything's fine now. If something looks weird, throw me a comment or something. If it looks normal or whatever, I don't know. But to me, everything looks like it was solved. It just that it was somewhere between the phone in the YouTube app update or something, that because it was different. And I know the info on the video is going to look weird, but I'll fix that later. So just thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're seeing what you're seeing. So anyways, I have a lot of neat stuff I wanted to talk about tonight, so I didn't want to have to forfeit the entire show for some stupid problem that I have had before. But now I think that I think it was the update of the app that triggered it, because there was never an option between vertical and horizontal before. So I know that I went on and off a bunch of times. Yeah, I do. I need Scotty to fix the malfunction in the core. Thank you. That's correct. I do. I do all my own tech. So, I don't have a Scotty, but that'd be nice. I'm always just trying to figure it out. But everything works pretty much fine most of the time. It's just that, like, when you're on, like, 5 minutes to air and things start bugging out, like, and then you're getting later and later and later, it's super not fun. So if you saw some of my most recent episodes, I've been talking about with the goings on with the unions and how they're faring. I'm not going to spend very much time on that. I just wanted to give a quick update because I'm following it, and I'm following it for all of you. You know, as we probably know, the writer's strike has been broken up, which is good. They got a really good deal. The actor's strike is still on, and they have authorized a strike for video game workers, which is super cool. At the same time, VFX workers are unionizing and probably going to, you know, launch their own strike pretty soon. There's been talk of reality stars unionizing, and that's really good too. Everybody needs a new deal. We're kind of in a hard place, a rock and a hard place with that now, because the reason the writers got a really good deal was because it looked like that the California legislature was going to put forward that striking workers could get unemployment payments, which obviously makes sense. And then the shit-ass governor vetoed it. So it's back to square one, basically, with the actors. So there's that going on. And then in the wider sense, the WGA is... or I'm sorry, the UAW, backwards. The UAW, which is the United Auto Workers, they're striking. They don't have a super strong union leadership situation, so they're kind of striking, you know, so, but good, I mean, it's a good thing nonetheless. Like, hopefully they'll get, you know, what they deserve as well, because these companies need to be taken to task. That's what it basically is. Kaiser Permanente is on strike. They're an evil corporation, and so is CVS, and they're starting to organize as well and doing protests and walkouts. These corporations, they and Waffle House also. So, and lots of other ones that I don't have time to mention. I just wanted to give that quick update because people are starting to get the idea again. That there was a time in this country when organizing your labor was the thing to do. It was a prideful thing to do. It was the way to protect yourself, and there were much more physical jobs out there. And if you want to hear more about this and more about what the future holds, I did a couple episodes back a pretty big meditation on where unregulated AI is going to get us. And newsflash, that's going to be a really serious economic and job crisis, because they're already taking jobs. Like, AI is already replacing people, the human workforce, in every industry you can imagine. There is nothing a human could do that a robot can't do. There are very, very few things, you know, in this world that somebody would not try to get an AI to do. Now, the AI itself and robotics and stuff, and robots controlling robots, is not actually a problem. It's a good thing. The problem is we have no social safety nets in order, like, you know, universal health care or universal basic income, and these companies are just going to be allowed to run wild, and we're going to start seeing rising of the first trillionaires in these corporations that will be unstoppable at some point. So if this isn't stopped or regulated, you know, a hurting is really coming. So, but I talk a lot more in detail about that a few episodes back. You can find it. They're labeled and they're just in the description and stuff. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because I know some people had tuned in for some of that. That don't really watch my normal programs about what am I doing and what's coming up next and here's my thought on a movie. So that was something I diverted a little bit for a while, and I might return to it depending on where the news is. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit to give you an update, give everybody an update on what's going on with that. And like I said, there's a lot more little corporations or less known corporations or just other corporations. There's lots of strikes going on right now. There's lots of organizing going on right now. I don't have time to talk about all of it, and also not an expert. So I'm just saying about what's going on and what's happening. And I really want people to try to organize their workplace, talk to your coworkers about what they're making. You know, if you've got the means, have a little backyard barbecue, have your coworkers over, start the conversation. You cannot be fired for doing that. They will find, however, some other reason to fire you and say that, you know, you've done misconduct or something like that. So, but if you could tie it back to the fact that this happened on this date when I started talking to my coworkers about unionizing and our paychecks, then you got them, you know, so that's illegal. There's a National Board of Labor Rights that regulates all of this stuff, and they keep that, you know, they mind all that stuff. So if you do start trying to organize your workplace, or you do want to try to find a union to join or whatever, keep notes on every single meeting and everything that happens. Have a note taker at your meetings, that kind of a thing, so that, you know, because they will try to bully you. The smallest company, if a company buys you pizza on Fridays and they say we're family, they're fucking liars. You're not family, you're wage slaves, and they're stealing from you. So, on that note, let's move a little bit along to some other things going on. My God, I feel like mad scientist, like Doc Brown mode, because I just like my hair all crazy and everything. Like, because I got a little mirror here, but I didn't get the chance to be like, Zen mode. I'm Zen. Gonna go on and not act like a total turd. Like, well, I mean, I always act like a total turd. But I'm gonna be like extra turd. That was not the plan today. So, okay. Anyways, that was the update on that I just wanted to give real quick, because I had been talking about it. So moving on from that, I've got some pretty cool updates on some me stuff going on, and this is the me stuff show. So beyond this, what's going on with striking, I'm recording this on October 5th, and yesterday on October 4th would have been Buster Keaton's birthday, which if he were still alive, he would be 128. So we celebrate the day 128 years ago that everything went right, so, and if you're somebody like me who's dedicated so much of their own life to preserving someone else's legacy who died 1920, so carried a bunch of years, a couple of decades before I was even born. I'm excited that to have a day to celebrate. It's sort of like a little mini holiday for fans, and not that you do much. You just post online, maybe you eat a cupcake or something. But I'm really glad that there is something, that we have like a little point in which Buster fans can unite and have that moment. I can see my hair being crazy right now, and it's driving me crazy. Okay, that's fine until it gets weird again. It just kind of moves on its own. It's like gonna start going out, like, I don't know. Anyways, so it's cool. I think it's cool that people do have their little ways of celebrating and remembering him, and I'm glad that people are remembering him. I think it is the internet that really brought him. It was a good medium. It's funny that he was really forward thinking in terms of technology, like he predicted subscription television and like streaming before any of that happened. Like, he was very forward thinking, very technically forward thinking, very invested, very interested. That's why he was able to retain his career when so many other of his contemporaries were not, because he saw TV as a really fun, cool opportunity, not just like, somehow beneath him, wasn't stuck in the old ways. That was one big thing about him, is he was just very interested in whatever was going to come next, and he did kind of see the future. He is quoted as saying that there'll be subscription services like video on demand and streaming and stuff like that. So all those years ago, he had that in mind. And we're kind of just now in the era of that. So good on him. So you can see why he's easy to gravitate towards. And no, he didn't predict the internet that I know of, but I mean, maybe, probably, but knowing him. But I think the internet, as the way that it works, where we look at little snippets of things, where we can converse and share and whatnot, and use it for, sometimes use it for good, is a really, really suitable medium for him. Because you can be like, you could see the moment when the house falls over him and somebody puts a comment on it or whatever, and explains it, how that all came to be, or a quote from him, or you see him grab the streetcar and lift off of his feet, and people will put that side by side with how they redid that in one of the Spider-Man movies, where they had to use CG to do it. So you see a lot of things that he did that you can watch in little micro clips and be like, oh wow, damn, that's super cool. And then when somebody goes, oh wow, damn, super cool, about somebody they never even heard of or whatever, and then they're like, wow, this whole compilation of stunts was really neat. Who was this guy? You got him. So it's basically, I think, why Buster is so popular now. Because, I mean, we went through he died in 66, so you went through the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the aughts and stuff, but just until we get to this, the internet age, he obviously was always admired and respected, but it's like, what's there going to be another book? You know what I mean? So he didn't really have a good medium for which people to gravitate towards him. and see how funny he was, and see how smart he was, and see how daring he was. So I think that we have the internet to thank for that. They're still talking about making a limited series on his life starring Rami Malek, which of course is everybody's dream casting. I take a little more pessimistic view on that because more of the I'll believe it when I see it type of a thing, because for years, probably decades, there have been discussions about making some, Roscoe Arbuckle movie, making a Buster movie that was legitimate, because we all know how good, if you go all the way back to 1992, you really can't top Chaplin with Robert Downey Jr. That's really the go-to for old Hollywood silent cinema casting, movie production. The casting in that movie was fantastic and outstanding. The depiction of everything was very good. The makeup was very good. It wasn't really like any kind of fakeness too much. I mean, it stuck pretty true to the reality of his life, condensed into a small package. So of course, I would love to see that happen. I would love to see a mini series about his life, because there's a lot to tell, and I would love to see Rami Malek especially play him. But because I think he could do it. They don't have too different of a physique either. It's not just about they have a physical resemblance, I guess you'd say, in the eyes in particular, in the dark complexion. But I don't see they're it's not like Rami's like 6'4" or something like that. They're around the same height. I think if he they could do a little like what they did with the Elvis movie, where Austin Butler on his own doesn't exactly look like Elvis, but if you see these production videos that they did of makeup videos, he'd be in makeup for a couple hours, and they'd put some latex on his cheeks and chin, and it wasn't just put on a little powder and send him. They'd put a wig on him, then they'd line his eyes, they'd recontour his face with latex and stuff. And I think if they do anything as near as good as they did with that, yes, his eyes do look like Buster. That's what I'm saying. That's the most, I think, striking feature about the similarity between the two. And let's not forget, Rami has won an Oscar for playing Freddie Mercury. So he does know how to play people. He does know how to do it. He can. I think he's the dream casting. It's not just because of the resemblance or the fact that they physically have a pretty physical resemblance. I think that if there has ever been a time to make it, the time is now. And if there's ever been a person to be cast in it, that's him. And I would really love to see it. But again, I like I say, I'm taking the more pessimistic view of it, because there's been so many starts and stops over the years. And everybody's always got, oh, well, I heard and I was told and I know somebody who works at. Shut up. No, you don't. You don't know shit. So these things die for any reason at any time, and unless it's already on your screen, it doesn't exist. It's just talk. So and it could literally, what was that, the remember the Lord of the Rings TV show on Amazon, the $1 billion bomb that was? They reshot the entire thing. They lost one of their actors and reshot the entire thing. So it can die at any point, is just my point. It's my point. And it's happened so many times before, way before. So right now it's just all talk as far as I'm concerned. Although I'd love it. I'm just saying. Don't everybody get super juiced about it yet. So that's where I land on that. But we do celebrate Buster's 128th birthday. I'm super excited to be doing that. I'm super excited that so many people are coming around to him, that the internet has really worked in his favor, and I love seeing his reputation grow. Not obviously just for my own reasons, but I do love seeing his reputation grow. But for my own reasons, I will say, I am celebrating quite a milestone. So just by about a week from now, to being the year anniversary of when I released "O Buster, Where Art Thou," the documentary on YouTube. It's been about a week and a year, so just about a year and a week rather. So we're basically celebrating the anniversary of that as well. And I did want that to time out so that it would be around his birthday also. And That's why I released it when I did. But that's super exciting for me also for my reasons, because as of like almost to the day, it surpassed 10,000 views. So I'm really happy about that. And I know it's, I could, my statistics say that people are watching it all the way through. I get good feedback from it. So I'm really glad that people are enjoying it and are liking to see the inside view of his life, and kind of really say like, oh, I found this guy on the internet, I'm watching him on YouTube, then this movie came up and I watched it, and now I feel like I know him, and also he was awesome as a person. So that's really cool, and that's what I wanted to bring to audiences. And when I made it, everybody wants to make money. Obviously everybody needs to make money, unfortunately, but I always felt like that wasn't my main ambition with it, was to make money and to withhold it from people, or keep, some people can see it because they own the streamer, or they can pay to see it. That didn't feel like the right spirit for that project and for Buster. I mean, if he was whispering in my ear, it was, give this away for free. You know what I mean? Because he was a generous person, and I didn't do it, necessarily to be generous. I just felt like I really wanted, that 12-year-old to come along and be like, whoa, these videos are great. Or, that 60-year-old who's like, oh yeah, they used to show these on Saturday mornings, and I remember these, and these, I have this memory, you know what I mean? Like, or for fans, or especially newcomers. And I know there have to have been a lot of newcomers in recent years. So I'm seeing it, so it's been very evolutional. I've been involved, 13 years, as I've said many times, but I've seen little cliques grow out of it. I've seen kind of the ebb and flow of new people coming into it and leaving, and more new people coming into it. So all these people coming into Buster's orbit, super, super cool. And I wanted to be a part of that more than I wanted to restrict certain groups of people from seeing it. So even though I haven't made any money off of it at all, and it was really, really, really hard to make, for no money. It was at my own expense for sure, and it was not the greatest experience, I will tell you that. It's one of those things where you really go through hell, but when you come out on the other side of it, you're like, I wouldn't have traded that for anything, just because of what I got from it. And that's also what inspired the book, the following up books, I should say, because there was just so much more to tell. And that's where Another New World comes out of. Now, I said this before, I'll say it again. Due to the printing costs, I was intending to include a lot of colorized, not AI enhanced, but me enhanced photos that fixed up old photos to make them, as real to life as possible, because that's sort of the goal of the movie and the book anyway. It's like, okay, you've seen the clips, now let's see who the guy, the man behind the curtain was. So I had all these photographs, like over 60 photographs, that you see. Some you would have seen, some you never would have seen, because they're mine in my collection privately, and I've acquired them. And I had them all ready to go, and then I found out the printing cost would just be so high right now, with everything being everybody just making up whatever they want to charge for whatever, and nobody regulating it. So it was just too cost prohibitive. So what I've done is I've split the story and the photos in twine. And what's coming out on November 25th is going to be just the story part. And by story, I do mean a nonfiction novel, which chronicles the last 20-ish years of his life. His private life primarily, that of his family as well, which has never been done before, because those guys were always like kind of a footnote, in other biographies and things. They didn't really have, they might be quoted, depending, but nobody really knew very much about their own personal lives. And through the interviews I've done and the research that I've done for this decade plus, and these, we've really been able to pull out, because his brother and sister, obviously they outlived him quite a bit. So there was, they knew other people, they made friends with other people. So there's a lot to know. Eleanor as well, include her in that as well. And Eleanor's sister, and there was a lot, and their nephews, and that they loved. Her sister's sons, to be clear. So there were a lot of people were in their orbit as well, and they had their own stories and they went through their own things. But what was super unique about them is they were such all forward thinking, forward acting people. They really had a really good, for the most part, relationship throughout their lives, and they lived together as adults for almost a decade, before everybody kind of found their own way and got on, got their legs underneath of them in this. So I'm really proud and excited to get to tell their story as well over this couple of decades of time. And it's going to be really exciting. It's really exciting for me, but I am disappointed I wasn't able to merge them into the original project that I had envisioned. But this is going to make it affordable. And in the case that you read the book and you don't like it, you'll still be able to get the photos and see all those things and enjoy that separately. And if you get the book and you do like it, same. So that's where that's happening. And again, so the text version of everything is coming out November 25th of this year. And a couple days before that would be Thanksgiving, and I'm probably going to do a show that night, because after you ate all the food and everybody's gone home and you're chilling, and it's kind of fun to just get around and do something, have a little bit of fun. So I think I'll probably be on that evening. And we're getting closer, because if you have been following along, I've actually also, speaking of milestones, I started this right after the release of the film. So I've also been doing these shows for about a year too. So there's that as well. So yay me. Golf clap, yay me. But I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed sitting in a room talking to myself, to my phone, because it's been really, really fun to connect with people and kind of keep everybody in the loop of what I'm doing, because if you have been watching all along, playing the home game, then you know that there's been an evolution to this, where initially I was planning on pursuing traditional publishing, but I kind of had to change my thinking, because I had self-published before. I've done independent publishing. I did it with Sorry Charlie, and I just wanted to see what the process was back then. So that one wasn't edited very well, and it wasn't formatted very well. It's still available for sale, but I do intend to get back to it and kind of fix it up, because I just wanted to see what the process of independent publishing was like, where you're in charge of everything. And I did. I saw what that was like. So now I want to kind of fix that product up as well. But what this has kind of come to is I realized traditional publishing, although it works for some people, no way would have worked for me. I can't be beholden to a company. I don't want to enrich a corporation any more than I have to, and that is hypocritical, because I am using Amazon to publish. But I mean, we got to use the tools that are available to us, right? So I mean, I can't do everything myself. I don't like it, but that's what it is. So I realized that it just wasn't going to work for me, because I couldn't in good conscience sell my story to a company for a lowball offer, assuming that they'd want it, and then allow them to make any changes that they wanted to make, and allow them to release it or not whenever they saw fit, or allow them to figure out whatever angle that they wanted to make it from, or charge whatever they wanted to charge for it, because they're only interested in making money. So they're not interested in telling good stories. It doesn't matter what company, anywhere. They're only interested in making money, and that's it. The biggest ones to the smallest ones, that's all that there is to it. So if they only want a product, they don't want a good story, they don't want a good history, they just want a product, and then they could edit it to no end, and you've given them the right to do that. So I just couldn't in good conscience do that. And I remembered I'd been through the process of self-publishing before. I am a professional editor as well. I have the skills. I designed the cover. I painted the painting on the cover. So I have a wide variety of skills that I was able to put towards all of this. So it just didn't make sense. A lot of authors have to hire people out to do these things for them. But it just, to me, like, I can do it. These are the things that I can do. So I did it. And I'm happy with it. It's everybody's right not to be happy with it. If you don't like it, okay, no problem. But I'm happy with it as a product, and I still won't be making very much off of it. You know, I tried to charge the lowest amount of money that I could to make it as accessible to people as possible. So I'm not going to be saving the Goondocks with what I make off of this. But what I ultimately came away with on the idea of was I had to do it this way to give you a genuine product. I will not put my name on something that somebody else dicked with. You know, I'm just not going to do it. So it's especially something that I worked this hard on for hard on dick and hard on. I'm on a roll tonight. So I especially that I work something that I work so strenuously on and had the skills to do. So I want to give you something that I can believe in and that you can believe in. And if you're like, oh, well, this is all bullshit, you made this up, you're perfectly welcome to think that. I didn't, but all I did was assemble it. So yeah, of course, it's not a diary, so it's not going to be like today they did this and then the next day they did this and so on and so forth. I have to editorialize, you know. But my mind was not on making a product, an entertainment product that I could make money off of. It was continuing the story of what the movie started and getting as close to realism as I possibly could for everything that I had to guess on, you know, and all the dots I had to connect on my own. So I'm happy with it. It is not fictional. It is a true account as close as I could get it, you know, so that I just wrote it in a fictional style because that's what I do. I'd never written nonfiction before. I know I do technical writing and medical writing and things like that, like, you know, as a skill. But this isn't that either. So, and there's plenty of good biographies out there. You know, if you don't like it, go read one of those. This is meant to do exactly what the movie did, which was add the humanity to it, add the human aspect to it. So you will get to see these people as people, not just quotations or mentions or pictures in a book. So that's why this differs. That's why I'm excited about it. I have been asked before, how does this differ from, you know, like James Curtis' book, in some of these other ones that have come out in recent years, and that's how it differs. I've added the human element to it. So again, there's other probably much better documentaries than mine, but mine is the way that it is because I wanted to add the human element to it. So that's what sets us apart. And on November 25th, you can find out. You can pre-order the digital version now. That is for whatever reason, Amazon allows you to pre-order digital but not physical copies. So the physical copies of paperback and hardback, you will have to wait until November 25th to make the order. But if you were planning on buying digital anyways, you could pre-order it now and it will show up on your device that you normally read off of on its own. So that's up to you. That's your choice. And I told you about a playlist that I made that inspired the making of the book, like what I was listening to, that really told a story, and that is listed in the back of the book as well. If you purchase it in any form, you will be able to find that list. But I will be in the beginning of November. I will release a playlist that I made of those songs in the right order. With a track listing for you all. That'll be all over my social medias. You can share and check out and get into what's super cool is about it. It was not just like, oh, this lyric reminds me of this time or of Buster or something like that. Sometimes it's the lyrics. Sometimes, no, I don't want to read that because I don't want, oh, well, okay, I will. Somebody asked me a question recently if they could get an autograph of a hard copy. That's not something I really want to do. Not because I have anything necessarily against it, just because, I mean, if it's just not something I really want to get into. You know, I don't do live events. I don't really feel like my autograph is really that important to the story. My name's on the book. I wrote the book. I'm going to put out a lot of other ones. You know, I'm out here. You could talk to me on socials or whatever. I don't really feel like that adds any value or anybody really needs that from me. So I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're asking. I appreciate that people care about things like that. And it's not, you know, a personal thing like, you know, I don't want to interact like that. No, it's just that I don't really want, me so much to proceed the work. That being said, there's a couple other little points I wanted to make here. I am on Blue Sky now. Twitter is just, you know, nosediving. We all know that. And now that they're allowing companies to come in and use tweets for informing AI models, they're all going to do that probably eventually if they're not already. Nothing we could really do about that, but it is against your consent and you can't opt out. So I'm not happy about that. I'm not going to leave Twitter probably until they close the doors. I just don't know how personable, you know, I can be there. So I'm trying to give Blue Sky a try. Not loving it. There's a kind of habit of people like following you, so you'll follow them back and then they unfollow you, and it doesn't allow GIFs or videos, maybe not just yet, but there's also not a very big Buster presence there. So I'm trying to build one. So if you want to jump over there, if you get an invite code, come over there and you know, help me kind of create the Buster area over there. That'd be really cool. So I'm doing that. I'm also, and I say this tentatively because they're kind of set, you know, in the future. But between November and probably the beginning of the year, I'm going to be on guesting on a few different podcasts. I won't say which ones yet, because, you know, this could all, they could be like, you know, we could cancel for any reason or whatever. It's, you know, things could work out like they did tonight. So I'm not going to give dates or times or names or anything just yet, but I will update with all that information here, and I will update with all of the information on my socials as we get closer to those events and they're actually going to happen. So, I'm really excited that I'm going to get to talk to greater and more different audiences about Buster and about the book and the movie, and just have some good conversation. And when I sit here and talk to myself, like, I get to say whatever I want, but I also really enjoy getting to talk in a tactile way with another person who has questions and thoughts and wants to speak with me about it. You know, I was interviewed by Julie Hoyle a few weeks ago, and she, you know, we had a great time, and you could see her, that interview on her stream, Your Story Matters. So if you want to hear more about just the Buster stuff, you can check that out as well. But I will be on, guesting on some more coming up. And maybe even more after that. So I don't exactly know the schedule for sure, but I will keep you all updated on that. But that being said, that's really what's going on with the Buster stuff right now. What concerns the second part of the book, the photographic part, I don't have an ETA on that right now, because in that I had decided to go self-publishing because it was really more befitting to me. The more I get more forward, the further I go with the things that I'm doing, I'm realizing that really was the most excellent decision for me, because I am a multi-genre writer, which I guess is not very common. So, you know, I will write, you know, I can write historical drama, comedy, you know, I guess I don't want to say horror, but like scary stuff, like, you know, like, you know, period stuff, and, you know, there's a lot of things that I do, and a lot of things in my pipeline that aren't Buster related, a lot of things in the pipeline that are Buster related. You know, I do art, so there would be art books and stuff like that. Speaking of which, one more little point on this. I have a Buster section on my Redbubble, and if you're familiar with Redbubble, or maybe you're not, people I find don't really seem to understand what Redbubble is. And I'm also just about to pass, what were the numbers? 3,000 likes on my Redbubble of products and almost 1,000 sales. So Redbubble is a website where it's basically like, because you say, oh, my art's on Redbubble, and people think, well, I don't need art. Well, the thing of it is they've got, you know, it's just like if you go to the Wally World or the Target, it's got everything that they've got, except that you can get these specifically made artworks on those items. So if you need a travel mug or a bath mat or a bedspread or wall art or stickers or stationery, you know, a phone case, all of that stuff is there. And then you just choose what you want, and then an artist who made it gets a kickback from that. So, there are and it's not just me. I mean, it's a whole network of artists, you know, so it's something like you could support independent artists at the same time as get something nobody else has that you really really love, you know, something like that. And then in my case, I do everything from like vintage inspired patterns. I do like Halloweeny stuff. I do Buster stuff, obviously. You know, if you've seen my Buster Stardust or some of my other things, or my painting from called Ghosts from that's on the cover of the book. You know, there's all that stuff there, and you can be like, oh well, I want this on a you know a backpack, you know, something like that. So I do, and I do psychedelia. So I do other portraits. So if you've seen Ghosts, um, yeah, you can buy phone cases. Now, if you've seen the portrait painting Ghosts that I did, that's one of my styles, and I do other people and other things in that style. So you can find some of my other portrait work there as well. I'm always going to be adding to it, and like I said, I will get a kickback from it if you purchase something. You're not purchasing it directly from me. They're making it. They're just taking, I give them my image, you know, that's how it works. I give them the image, then they put it on the travel mug and they send it out to you. So, or, you know, it's anything that you can want, basically. So I say that because I'm just about to hit as of the taping of this, I'm just about to hit 3,000 likes, just about to hit 1,000 sales. I'd love to pump those numbers up, of course, and get it out there. But I find Redbubble's a little bit hard to work with, a little bit hard to explain to people. They think, you know, I don't need art. Well, that's not what I'm talking about exactly. It's like, you know, whatever you need, you can get it with that stuff on it. So I did want to mention that. And there's an entire section just devoted to Buster. The site is a little bit hard to navigate, so don't give up. Just get in there and look for it, for what you're looking for, and you'll find it. I can promise you that. So I did want to mention that. But what I was saying before I interrupted my own self was that the reason that, you know, as I further myself in this path, I knew that, you know, after making films and that in doing art and making soap and cosmetics and stuff, that I kind of always, well, not kind of, I definitely always forever from the time of childhood wanted to be a writer, a person who wrote things. But it just like I was doing that, but I was also had, you know, all these other irons in the fire. So I'm now more, now that, you know, the indie publishing is available, I see a you know, a road forward with that. And I realize as a multi-genre writer, that's going to be really, really useful to me because, you know, if you work with a traditional publisher and they're like, oh, well, we want your horror books, we don't want your westerns. You know what I mean? And you end up getting pigeonholed into this situation. And the idea that you're going to be just some sort of massive Stephen King success because you work with a traditional publisher is not true. None of that stuff is, the industry does not work like that, and it changes all the time, and it's shrinking because people are going towards independent publishers and smaller publishers and things like that. So I'm finding out more and more what a good decision it was to just skip all of the nonsense and the bullshit and go straight to doing things myself, since I already possess these skills. And I've got a working, you know, work in progress list a mile long, Buster and non-Buster related. So that's the reason I don't exactly know the date of the picture book. Like, I can't be like, oh, well, the textbook is coming out November 25th, and then 3 months later that, you know, no, I don't know. I will be able to give future updates, obviously, but I also want to give everyone a chance to see, you know, the first volume, or first part. It's not volumes, really, but the first part of Another New World. Get a chance to read it, metabolize it, review it, leave me reviews and feedback on my Amazon. If you're on Goodreads, I'm on Goodreads too. But things really live and die by reviews. You know, people will have a harder time finding the book without a direct link if it doesn't receive very many reviews. So if you buy it, just a one-line review, or, you know, will do. I don't even care if you don't like it. Just put a review on Amazon. Everybody can do this. You know, that's it. Like, I tried to make sure everybody could afford it. I'm gonna make sure that, like, if for some reason you can't afford it, get in contact with me, and I'll see about what to do about that. And I want this for people as well, but, you know, I also I needed to get out there so people even know about it, because I have only so much sway. I have only so much reach with people. So if you're seeing this, if you're seeing my socials, share these things with people and let people know. And just if you buy the book, please, 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 please leave an Amazon review, good or bad. I don't care. Just leave one. And that being said, this I have another book that's I've been working on for probably about 20 years, actually, that started out as a screenplay. I was doing that for a while too, and I adapted into a book, but I had to abandon it over and over again for other projects going on, like making the movie and stuff. So I have a couple things that are almost fully formed, and I want to get onto the market as well. Plus, like I said before, I need a Buster break. If I'm going to keep making Buster content, which I intend to do, I need to have some space in between. So this is sort of a period of experimentation for me, with really using the self-publishing tools and to my benefit as much as possible, because what I'm planning on doing is Another New World Part 1 comes out November 25th. And then I've already kind of mentally started on it, but like I'll physically start working again on, it's called The Big Bad Wolf. And it's not horror. It's not horror, but it's scary. And so, I realize the horror genre is pretty vast, and I'm not into it for the most part. But it's something that I would, because there's more elements to it. It's like it's technically a period piece. It's set in 1975 and 1985, and there's two storylines. There's a lot of kind of mystery going on of what's happening. Just trying to figure out what's happening. Plus, also it's real scary. So and pretty violent and things like that. So it kind of doesn't necessarily fit the horror genre. So I'm pretty much considering it a paranormal thriller. So I want to really, really, if not for any other reason than just for myself, I really I want to move that out of the work in progress to finished. I've been working on it for decades at this point in one form or another, and it's so close to really being all the way done, and it won't take the level of work that this book has taken, because I don't have to adhere to anything. As I've said, I'm a fiction writer. Even though I'm multi-genre, I'm a fiction writer by nature. So writing something nonfiction where I have to adhere to all of these facts and stats and times and moments that actually, and things that actually happened, and make people talk the way they actually talked and say words they actually said, that puts all these stop blocks up, puts all these rules in my way that I'm not used to. I'm used to playing God and getting to decide whatever. If I make a mistake and then I'm like, hey, I like that better than what I was planning, I'm going with it. And I learned that the hard way with this, Another New World, because like I'd go off on a tangent, I'd be like, and then this happens, and this, and this, and this. It wouldn't be, a car chase or a knife fight or anything, but I would go off on a tangent, and then I'd be like, you know what? That didn't happen at this time in this way. And then I would have wasted my time, and I'd be sad I couldn't use something that I liked, right? So I want to go back to playing God at least some of the time. And so that's why I'm not releasing the books back to back, the text version with the picture version. The picture version I'm seeing is more of like a tabletop thing, like a vanity type of a project, so that like what you're getting with it, right? It's not like there's no mystery about that. Like with the book, you're still going to be like, I wonder what that's all about. But with that stuff, with the picture book, you know what you're going to get. So and there's also going to be an art book down the way too. I will be releasing all of my art, old and new and unmade yet stuff, because I have some unreleased stuff as well. So that's coming as well. I've got a lot of Buster projects in the works, but I have to, break it up a little bit. And being able to self-publish is going to allow me to do what I want, when I want, in what order I want, and not be dictated to about, well, we don't want your this, we want your that, because that's what makes money. So It's going to be a little bit of an experiment, and it's going to take some time, and we got to also, find a good time to release it. So I don't know how long it's going to take to get the big bad wolf prepared for market. So we're gonna find out together. So I'm excited about that book as well, because I have shared it with people before who have said that it like it really scared them, which kind of is the point. I mean, it's a good story to be an interesting story, but it's also, I guess, people do find it scary. And I would want to make a final, finished, polished version of that. And like I said, I've started really mentally. If you start writing something like 20 some years ago and you've worked on and off, you are definitely in a different mindset than you are down the road when you're really ready to finish it. So what I have done before is going to need like a ton of updating. I've already mentally started doing that, like adding to the characters, realizing the kind of things that I didn't really address before with them, like who they are and the who's and the what's, and really putting more meat on the bones. So I know that a lot of you are just like, give me the Buster, and I definitely understand that, and I definitely understand that point of view. And I will be bringing you more Buster. I will always be bringing you more Buster. But if you read Another New World and you're like, well, I like this style, I like how she tells a story, this, that, the other, then get Big Bad Wolf, and then keep getting them. Follow me, like that's kind of the whole point of what I'm doing here. So I'm really excited to see where this all goes. I know I also have a even probably almost even close to 25 or more years I've been working on a Western series since I was a teenager. I've been working like little early high school. I've been working on that, and I did finally a few years ago get a fully formed draft of that made, and that's called Fields of Gold. And I've got a whole universe planned for that: sequels, prequels, side stories. It's big. But all these things take time. All these things take effort. So if you all stick with me and get into not just the Buster stuff, but some of the other stuff I'm doing as well, that just helps me be able to keep creating more and ultimately more Buster stuff. So that's where I think my future is headed. That's what I'm planning to do. I have some ideas for movies, but I don't really have any plans on carrying them out, at least at present. Always will be making more art. I'm out there on my socials and stuff. I'm trying to be more forthcoming and more talkative, but I do feel pretty uncomfortable in some of these spaces, knowing that they're harvesting for AI. And it's not just the companies themselves, but in Twitter's case, they're just allowing anybody that pays them to come in and do that. So that's the problem. Again, it's not the technology, it's how it's going to be used. And we laugh at it now and be like, oh, haha, robot voice when I call my phone company, or look at the picture of the guy with an extra limb or 6 fingers. And that, when people are passing that stuff around, they're not realizing, well, some of them are for sure, that's desensitizing people to the seriousness of the situation. It's not always going to be laughable. It's not always going to be a joke. It's very, very serious, and no amount of calls or pushing or protesting the officials, the GOV officials, is going to make any difference, because these companies are going to get so out of hand big. They're going to take their favorite pet political person and representative, and they're going to make sure that they put up every stop block imaginable to keep this from being regulated and to keep themselves from being taxed. And that's really where this all comes from. They're going to try to do everything imaginable to keep all of the profits that they now have, infinite ability to create, because they no longer employ a human work staff, because robots don't need sick days. So, or sleep breaks, they don't need anything, they could just manufacture 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever. So when I say these things, it's not exaggeration or hyperbole. It's real. It's coming soon. It's already happening. It happened to me. I lost my main source of income to this right when I was trying to get this book going. So I wasn't able to look for other work. And so things have not been easy. I'm currently, trying to figure all that out. So it's not just because I'm in an intellectual field like, technical writing and digital editing and graphic design and things like this. It's going to happen everywhere and everything. It's already happening in food production. It's happening in every single industry that it was already happening in the automotive and manufacturing industries forever anyways, but it's coming fast, and there's nothing in place to help people or save us. And these companies are going to do everything in their power, and they're going to become unstoppably powerful to take an already corrupt system. I got to be careful of the words I use or my videos get deprioritized. So they take an already corrupt system, exploit it even further, and then make sure that they don't have to pay for all the people that they fired ultimately. So that's the big mess that's coming. And I just don't want anybody to be taken by surprise by that. And there's nothing you can do to prepare. You can't call anybody and complain. You can't, you just be ready for, I guess, the riots to start, because there's nothing can be done. And I don't want to bring everybody down at the end of this. This is not my intent. Because we pretty much hit the high points here. But I am going, and it's a big problem in the art and in the literary industries, because these models are informed by stealing art and books, and then Amazon is just now, and very reluctantly, not even very effectively, taking a stand against AI, because people will take an author's name and publish like 20 fake books under their name, and it's just like robot noises. It doesn't even make sense, and people will buy, but after you bought it, and that's all that they care about. So it's fraud, it's theft. It wouldn't exist without those two things. And now if we see that happening in social media, you can guarantee that that's going to put the whole ability of these things to communicate and to move further light years ahead faster, and it's going to be faster and faster and faster, and it's going to be a big mess. So on that happy note, I'm going to, now that I've gotten through the first year of production of these production of these films or videos or live feeds, streams, shows, whatever. Now I can start doing some more theme type stuff. So week after next Thursday, 2 Thursdays from now, I will be back for a Million Movie Project Presents episode, and we will talk about some horror movies that I like, some that I don't, some that I've been disappointed by, some that maybe should have been considered horror and weren't. We'll talk some scary movies, so I can do some theme episodes now, and that'll be super fun. So that is pretty much all I wanted to tell you. Once again, I'm on Blue Sky now. It's just my name. You can find me also on Redbubble. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I'm on that as well. I'm trying to manage them all as best as possible. Not doing great as far as that goes. But, questions, comments, friend requests, whatever, just reach out, no problem. If there's anything I didn't address that you'd like me to address, I'd be happy to. Don't be shy. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. And so take care. And if you are looking for some fun stuff to do, if you live in a warm climate, or if it's still warm where you are, check out your local drive-in theaters. Those are always a fun thing to go and do. And you can be distanced away from people if you're not too comfortable in crowds yet. Which I get. So there's that, and stay safe, make good choices, and I will talk to you guys again soon, hopefully without things getting all buggy next time. So goodbye, and I will see you soon.